Hi everyone, hope you all are doing well. Okay, today we'll be talking about Power BI. Power BI list connectors. There are two connectors that we have. We have version 2 and version 1. Version 2 and version 1 have some differences. I've explained that in this article, but I'll be explaining more in detail in my video. So you can always look at this article. Also look at the video which I'll be creating for you. I have created a sample list for you, so you can also create one at your end just to get some idea about it. Okay, the main thing I'll be talking about is hierarchy and auto sum and few other features such as. Okay, so let's get down to it. We can always download this Power BI desktop. For that, what you can do is you can just open the Microsoft Store, look for Power BI, and you will see Power BI. You can get it. Try and make sure that you always have the latest version of Power BI because it will have the advanced features and more latest features in it. How to create a new report? Just click on File, click on New Report, and you will have this screen which is ready for you, where you can always go ahead and look at the report and what kind of report you want to create. You can plan it out. The first and the most important thing for a Power BI report is you need data. There are various ways you can get this data from. Right now you can see I can get data from the Excel workbook, data flows, Dataverse, SQL Server, any CSV file, web or something like that. But I would be taking data from SharePoint. So if I want to do that, I can click on More and I'll just click on SharePoint over here. Now when I click SharePoint, I have 2-3 options: folders, online list and list, and I would want to select list, but my SharePoint site is online, so I would want to select online. Just to show something to you, I'm selecting SharePoint list, and when I double click on the SharePoint list, you see I do not get any option over here. I just get an option to put in the SharePoint list URL. Okay, but if I go follow the same steps again, and I look for SharePoint and I try to look for SharePoint online list. Now in this case, what you see is I'm getting version 1 and version 2. This is what I was trying to tell you, that in a normal one I only get version 1 by default, and all the version 1 related settings come in, whereas in the version 2 you get much more advanced features and some features auto populate for you. So I'll show those features to you. So let's come back over here and look at the report which I want to work upon. So over here I have one report that I've created, or one SharePoint list I've created. I can just select this asset manager as a list and I put in the URL. Now I put in this version 1 URL, and if I click OK, you would see some features, but I want to first go with version 2 so I can explain more about what features I can get. See over here it is saying automatically it selected all retrieve all data from the SharePoint list and the default views. In version 1 I was not getting this view mode or which mode I would be able to select. So let's select version 2 and I click OK, and once I do that, let's select edit. It's actually the connection issue which is causing this. So let's say default. I select OK. Okay, I select edit. I select 1. I select edit. I am sure this is something to do with connection issues. So let me just check. Let me just try to make sure this is correct, this is correct, this is all good. I select more and I come back over here. I select SharePoint, I select online, I put in the correct URL. This is the, this seems to be correct URL. Maybe I'll just go ahead and put in the SharePoint list, SharePoint site, and select 2. Yeah, there we go. Actually I had to put in the SharePoint site URL, not the list URL. So now that I've put in the SharePoint site URL, I can see all the lists and libraries which I can use as part of my Power BI dashboard. So over here I will be selecting this asset manager as my list. This is what I have created. I have used it, and then I say transform data, and once I transform the data, you would see this is now started to pulling up data for me. Okay, and this properties load. Okay, this looks good to me. I say up close and apply, and now when I go to data, I would see that the asset manager is actually loading up in the screen. It will take a minute. Yeah, see, all the data is now getting loaded, and when I expand it, okay, now what you would see is the list is loaded, asset manager is loaded, and on the right hand side I see the date showing hierarchy. Okay, it's showing year, quarter, month, date. This is very important when I want to work with data. Okay, I want to see what were my sales, how were my sales, etc. And if you see this price, if you see these columns such as price, prof, sold, and all that thing, this is automatically showing the sign which says this is a sum of it. Okay, so my report will automatically come as sum of it. So let's say I select this should be the purchase. I select one more column. I add one more card. This says sold for. Then I have, let's see what other options do I have. I see what is, I see correct again. I select as in profit. Okay, and maybe then I'll select this, and or let's say just I want to select two values. Okay, but I would want to filter them, so I select slicer, and in the slicer I select the value month. Okay, so these are all the months that is coming. Okay, and that's it. Now let me try and play with it a little to see. So it's saying that I purchased the amount of this and I sold it for this. Now let's see how much I did for Jan. There's nothing in Jan. There's everything, all these values in Feb, nothing for March or anything else. Okay, so let me change this value to day. Okay, remove this, remove, and I bring up another filter and I select day. So now I have a day column as, let's say 2, 3, nothing, 4, nothing, 5, nothing, 6, nothing, 7, 8, 9. I don't have much values for dates, so let me, I think all of them are for the same date, that is maybe today's date, 27th. See, all of them are actually today's date. Let me just refresh the data to make it little more user friendly so we can understand. I'll change some data to the month, and okay, I'll be using purchase date column. Okay, so I select this one, then change this purchase date to, I move this to Jan. I move the third value, fourth value to Jan. So now I'm going to have some values in Jan, some values in Feb. That's what I'm doing. And I'll add one or two more two values to March as well, just to make sure we have some data in March as well. And I'll be using this as a filter. Okay, done. Now I have this thing done. I come back here. I will have to, now that I have done some refresh in the data, I will have to make sure that I refresh the data, because otherwise this value would not come correct. So now I have to go to the data and I have to refresh the data. I select refresh. So over here I just selected the data, the model, and I refresh the data. Okay, so let's confirm. Yeah, this value looks good to me. I have some Jan, Feb, March, all the 3 months of data available. I come back to the information and now instead of created date, I would remove this created date and I would want what date is, what date I modified was, I think purchase date is what I modified. That should have, yeah, this have multiple dates. So I'm not going to select in the hierarchy, I'm going to select months. Okay, I will remove this and I'll say show the filter and select purchase date month. So I will see all the months, Jan, Feb, March. See, I'm able to see all the purchase, sum of purchases in March, so, in the Jan, and how much I sold it for, sum of purchases in Feb and how much I sold it for, sum of purchases in March and how much I sold it for. As simple as that. This was like a very simple Power BI dashboard that I created with the least amount of effort. Okay, now if I would have selected version 1, then this hierarchy and filters would have been a little problem for me. Let me show you what I mean by that. I'll create a new report just to explain the difference and how it's difficult to do that, because one of our team member was trying the same and was stuck with this particular issue. So it's opening. So now I do the same process, nearly the same things, but let's see how difficult it is for me to do the same task when I use the version 1 of the flow. Okay. First of all, I'll have to perform the sign in to make sure that okay, my sign in is automatically done. That's good. I select more data. I select more at the bottom. I select SharePoint, and I select SharePoint list. I again go back and select the version 1 this time and select the SharePoint site. I select OK. This will take again a little time for it to connect to the list, show me what all options we have, and then import it. There we go. We are able to see all the list. I select Asset Manager list. I select transform data. Again, I'm not making any changes. This is all the data that I get. I select apply and close. Okay, now let me bring up the same values or same information. Now if you look at here how the data represents, let's see how do we see that data, how we are able to see the same list when using V1 of the information, V1 API. So you see there's no hierarchy, no sum, nothing happening. So now if I have to do my filters and all that thing, that becomes very difficult. Now if I put in the purchase date as in filter, what's gonna come is specific dates. It's not allowing me month, it's not allowing me quarter, it's not allowing me anything else. Also, I can do that. There is a lot of methods using which I can do that, but it's a little extra effort that I have to put in. The same goes for if I use this card. If I use this card, the same happens when I use this particular card. When I use this card, it's not gonna come. The sum is not gonna come automatically. If I go ahead and use this sold for, and it's not going to show me the correct information the appropriate way. It's not really very friendly. So I come back here and I select here. So this is just showing what happened on that particular date only, and that's not really updating. I would say not updating all the correct details or the correct values. This is not showing me correct values, correct information. This still missing. So to create a similar report which I had created over here, this kind of report, it takes me more effort when I have to use a V1. It takes me more effort to create the V1 version of the same API when I use a V2 version. And yeah, there are a lot of user-friendly information which I can use in the V2 version of the API which I wanted to talk about. I've explained them, but yeah, you can have more links, you can have more relationships, you can have much more information and much more features when using the API. Okay, so try looking at V2 version of the API when building your report. It might help you a lot. It will be a lot much helpful to you. You will learn more about it. You will gain much more knowledge from it. And if you have any issues, please do let me know. I'll be there to help you with anything you want to with regards to Power BI. Okay. Thanks everyone. Have a great day ahead. This was a quick video for you. It will be very helpful to you. Thanks. Bye. Take care.